Chapter 91. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tian moved fast, teleporting twice to get within about 500 meters of the black-armored bear. He ducked behind a large tree, held his breath, and focused on his next move rather than hunting the bear. First, copy its talent. With a thought, Tian copied the bear's advanced defensive talent and immediately started the fusion process. For Tian, integrating this talent wasn't painful. His mind remained clear, so even if a beast attacked, he could fight back without a problem. 10 minutes later, after sweating a bit, Tian finished merging the advanced defense talent. I can feel it. I'm just a little short of transforming it into a top-tier defense talent. My guess must be right. Gather 3 advanced defense talents, and you can fuse them into one top-tier talent. He muttered. He was now just one advanced defense talent away from possessing a top-tier one, which would allow him to break through the limit of skin refining. According to what I know, black-armored bears usually travel as a male-female pair. Since that last one was a male, there's gotta be a female nearby. If I follow him, I might find her and copy another talent. Finding the female means I'm basically guaranteed to get my first top-tier defense talent. With that in mind, Tian tracked the bear's location. By this time, the black-armored bear had already traveled over 4,000 meters and was battling a huge snake. While this giant snake was a top-tier beast, it was on the weaker end. It was definitely faster than the black-armored bear, but instead of just trying to constrict the bear, it engaged in direct combat. However, its strength was like a tickle to the bear, who had such a high defense. Eventually, the black-armored bear tore the giant snake apart, killing it instantly. Afterward, the bear dragged the snake's corpse in a certain direction. That snake got a raw deal. A top-tier beast killed by an advanced one. If it had just run, the bear couldn't have caught it. Why it chose a head-on fight is beyond me. Tian shook his head, lamenting the snake's lack of sense. Gotta go. Tian teleported and continued tracking the black-armored bear. The bear ran for dozens of kilometers before finally reaching a mountain peak and entering a large cave. Tian didn't follow. He stopped outside, letting his copying talent completely cover the other bear inside. Species: black-armored bear, bloodline talent, high strength talent, high defense talent, advanced. Bingo, there's a female. Tian was delighted. Without hesitation, he copied the female bear's advanced defense talent. After successfully copying the talent, Tian entered the cave. Sorry, but I also want your high-strength talent. Since there's no way to copy it right now, I'll have to kill you, store your body, and copy it again in a month. Tian thought to himself. He didn't feel guilty about killing the beast. Compared to beasts, humans were innocent. They were living peacefully on Earth when a spatial crack suddenly appeared, unleashing countless beasts. Countless humans had died at their hands. In the past century, the death toll had been staggering. Therefore, he had no sympathy for the beasts. Let's go. The battle was short and one-sided. The black-armored bear wasn't as strong as Tian, and it was slow. Tian quickly pierced its eyes, shattered its skull, and killed it instantly. Looking at the 2 corpses, Tian stored them in his personal space. His personal cultivation had increased his storage space to 200 cubic meters. Plus, he'd visited the Martial Pavilion several times in the past 2 months, selling treasures and freeing up space. There was plenty of room for the bear corpses. After storing the bodies, Tian started fusing the advanced defense talent in the bear cave. Fuse. As soon as he thought it, a powerful force erupted. In an instant, Tian felt like his skin was being torn apart and healed over and over again. It was incredibly painful. Transforming a high-level defensive talent into a top-level talent was even more agonizing than he'd imagined, but he endured it. He didn't know how long it took, but eventually the pain subsided, leaving him feeling incredible. Phew. Tian exhaled and immediately checked his talent. Defense talent, top. Seeing that his defense talent was now top tier, Tian smiled. His next goal was to upgrade his strength talent, which he was close to achieving. He had the bear corpses, and in a month, he could copy 2 more high-strength talents and fuse them into a top-tier talent. His power would skyrocket. Now that his defense talent was top tier, he could test whether he could break the limits of skin refining. Hopefully, the Hurricane King is right. Tian thought expectantly. Defense talent. Tian activated the defense talent, instantly increasing his defense by 20 times. Most grandmasters wouldn't want to try breaking through that. Time to train with the purple blood body refining technique. Tian began absorbing a large amount of heaven and earth yuan qi to refine his skin, which immediately brought a familiar sensation of pain. This is. Tian was thrilled, it was skin tempering. He could feel his skin being refined, and the effects were potent. Skin that could no longer be tempered was being refined again, proving that the Hurricane King's theory was correct. Top-tier talents really could help push the limits of his body. This is way too slow. At this rate, it will take at least 2 months to break through the limits of my body. Tian estimated. He immediately drank a swig of high-grade beast blood and began training with the purple blood alchemy technique, refining his skin. The training speed doubled, allowing him to break through the limit within a month. A month, huh? I'll train here this month. My sister's growing up, it's time she starts living independently. I can't take care of her forever. Having made up his mind, Tian settled in to cultivate with focus. Day after day, he cultivated, tempering his skin. Each day, Tian could feel his skin transforming. His defense hadn't improved, but his foundation was, and the essence of his skin was evolving, which was the most crucial aspect. On the 26th day of training, Tian finally felt a shackle in the depths of his skin refinement. After downing dozens of swigs of high-grade beast blood in one go, Tian desperately used the purple blood alchemy technique, frantically refining his skin and attacking the hidden shackle. He didn't know how many times he attacked or how long it took, but suddenly the shackle broke, and countless heaven and earth vitality poured into Tian's body, refining his skin and completing the last step of the transformation. In that instant, Tian understood, he had completely broken through the limit and brought skin refinement to a new level. Chapter 92. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, show me what you got. Tian braced himself, but his defense felt pretty much the same as before. The real difference was that, even without his healing talent, his skin healed way faster. Weird. So breaking through the skin refining realm just speeds up recovery, he wondered. He triggered his defense talent again, and then, a strange sensation washed over him. It felt like his defense talent was merging with his skin, almost like being branded. He had a gut feeling that if this kept up, his top-tier defense talent was in for a serious upgrade, maybe even a complete transformation. The Hurricane King didn't say anything about this. Probably because he never broke the limit himself. He just knew someone had juiced up their blood, made it stronger, not like normal human blood, more like a blood transfusion thing. But he never actually broke any limits, so he doesn't know what happens. He just heard stuff. Tian figured he couldn't rely on the Hurricane King's second-hand knowledge. He'd have to figure this out for himself, but he had a hunch that once his defense talent was fully integrated, it'd blow past the top-tier level and hit something completely new. During his time at the Demon Sea base, he'd heard whispers about cultivation talents that went beyond top-tier, but never about special talents. Some people even thought top-tier was as good as it gets, but Tian suspected that there was more to it. It was just incredibly difficult to break through. If it was easy, what's the fun? Top-strength talents could boost your power by 20 times. If you broke the limit, wouldn't you get 50 times or more? That's insane. So, breaking past the top-tier special talent level was super tough. You hardly ever saw beasts with anything higher. If a beast had a talent like that, it could probably take down enemies way out of its weight class. No idea when this talent will fully fuse with my skin. Maybe only after I've nailed the perfect foundation will I really get there, and then I'll know if the talent can level up. Tian put the thought aside, focused on stabilizing his newly upgraded skin refining realm, and went straight back to studying his sword intent. When he couldn't improve his cultivation or strength, diving into sword intent was his go-to move. His sword intent was already at the single sword intent level. It could kill souls, and even a sliver of it could one-shot regular martial artists from miles away. But it didn't do much against martial artists on his level. Still, the sword intent gave his knife skills a boost, even scared enemies. His knife work flowed much better after the two merged. He wasn't about to give that up, plus, sword intent was the key to mastering sword techniques. His bronze-level sword skill was perfected already, so no need to work on it, but if he wanted to level up a silver-level skill, he'd need to take his sword intent to 2%. For the basics of a silver-level skill, you need 3% of the sword intent, and to cultivate a silver-level sword skill to perfection, you need to reach 60%, that's why he hadn't bothered looking for any silver-level sword techniques. I gotta keep practicing my knife skills. This ability to stack it with my strength is too good. Without the boost from my knife skills, my attacks wouldn't be nearly as strong. Sword skills and strength talents must be the only two things that can be stacked. I can't drop the ball. Tian went back to studying his sword intent, and more secrets about the knife slowly came to light. For days zipped by, his sword intent only improved a little, barely reaching 1%. Time to copy the strength talent. Tian pulled out the corpses of the two black-armored bears. They were still perfectly preserved in his carry-on space, like nothing had happened. And then, he copied their high-level strength talents, fusing all these talents, one after the other, hurt even more than before, but when the pain faded, his strength talent had been completely reborn. Strength talent, top, seeing that it had become a top-tier talent, Tian was pumped. This was a direct path to more attack power. Top strength talent boosts attack power by 20 times, and my Qinfeng/knife skill adds another 6 times. Strength talent and knife skills can be amplified, so can't they be combined to increase attack power by 120 times? That the thought made his heart race, stacking 120 times the attack power. What would that even be like? Gotta try it. Tian couldn't wait to test it out. He stepped outside the cave. Top strength talent, activate. Qinfeng/fire. Boom. Tian swung his knife, and a massive canyon stretched for miles across the ground. Trees crumbled into dust. You could probably make a small river if you poured water in the chasm. The destructive power was crazy, but Tian frowned. It's not 120x attack power, more like 100x. It's like there's some kind of hidden limit, and after you hit 100 times, you can't go any further. Is 100 times the attack power the real limit? Tian refused to believe it. It was just that he hadn't broken through yet. He knew limits could be broken. You just had to be capable enough. I'm sure I can break through eventually, but I don't know enough about it yet, so I'll leave it alone for now and focus on building a perfect foundation first. Anyway, stacking 100 times the attack power is already a huge upgrade. Tian said, pleased. He quickly calculated his attack power. His body strength was equal to that of 1 elephant, adding yuan power made it equal to that of 2 elephants, and stacking his top strength talent and knife skill brought it up to 200 elephant power. The max attack power for a regular grandmaster was only 200 elephants, which meant Tian's attack power had reached the limit of an average grandmaster. I'm basically at the peak of a normal grandmaster, and I'm even faster. Only those grandmasters with special attack talents are stronger than me. The rest? I'm not scared of them, Tian said confidently. He didn't forget what was really important, breaking the limit of meat refining. Unlock the talent of strength. Cultivate the purple blood flesh refining technique. Rumble. A ton of heaven and earth yuan qi poured into Tian's body, refining his muscles. Sure enough, that familiar tingling, numbing sensation came back. He could temper his flesh refining realm again, just like he did with his skin. Tian guessed that if he used high-grade beast blood to help, it'd probably only take less than a month to break the meat refining limit. Then let's get to it. Tian started his hardcore training grind. 28 days flew by. Chapter 93. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Like his last breakthrough with skin refinement, Tian felt himself approaching the limit of meat refinement. Within hours, he shattered those barriers and successfully pushed past his previous limitations. No surprise, the strength, talent and muscles are merging, but it's happening slowly. I doubt we'll really understand what's going on until the foundation is fully solidified, Tian thought. Right now, his strength and defense talents are top tier, and he's already broken through the limits of skin and meat refinement. Next, he needs to find a high-level or top-tier bone talent, but those are incredibly rare, especially for bones. Only a few powerful beasts possess that kind of ability. The Vajra beast is one of them. Vajra beasts usually live in herds. Finding a herd means I could potentially absorb a top-tier Vajra bone talent. But finding them is the hard part. Cloud Sea Forest is huge, and there's even a king-level creature at its heart, making exploration dangerous. If the Vajra beast herd is deep inside, replicating their bone talent will be next to impossible. Still, there are rumors of Vajra beasts being captured here before, so maybe there's still hope. Tian couldn't help but cling to the hope of acquiring the Vajra beast's bone talent. He already had a high-level version. Copying 2 more would achieve his goal, a much easier path than finding another high-level bone talent. So, Tian started his search for the Vajra beast, but on the 3rd day, he ran into a group of people, around 40 strong, including 5 grandmasters and 35 great martial artists. These weren't your average grandmasters either, they were powerful, far stronger than the ones Tian had previously taken down, plus, some of the great martial artists were offensive talent geniuses. This team looked like a serious challenge. Tian immediately noticed the discord within their ranks. No discipline, no cohesion, and they seemed to be searching for something. Tian decided to try and get information about the Vajra beast from them. They might know something, so he deliberately crossed their path. Halt! A grandmaster spotted Tian and called out. What's up? Just looking for Vajra beasts, Tian replied casually. Vajra beasts, huh? The grandmasters exchanged glances, one chuckling. A great martial artist like you wants to take on a Vajra beast. Their bone talent is off the charts. One swat from them, and your bones would shatter. I have ways of dealing with them, Tian said confidently. Oh really? Maybe you have some talent of your own. We're actually short on manpower right now. We're about to go after a powerful beastmaster, and according to our intel, it commands a few Vajra beasts. Want to join us? One of the grandmasters suggested. Seriously, Tian feigned skepticism. Of course. Why would I lie to a great martial artist like you? But if you're weak, you're not welcome on the team. Another grandmaster added, *swish, Tian moved, demonstrating his speed. But he didn't reveal his true speed, showing only what looked like an elementary speed talent. Elementary speed talent? Not bad, qualified to join us. The 5 grandmasters were visibly pleased. An elementary speed talent on a great martial artist at their limit? That's good enough to deal with a lot of high-level beasts. The beastmaster they were hunting commanded a horde of high-level creatures. The grandmasters would focus on the beastmaster, leaving the great martial artists to handle its minions. That's why they were recruiting so many great martial artists, to help with the rank-and-file beasts. Beastmaster, could it be a king-level powerhouse? Tian asked. He already knew it wasn't king level, otherwise, these guys would have run at the first sign. He was just playing dumb. King level? No way. If it was, we wouldn't stand a chance. Don't worry, kid, the 5 of us can handle this beastmaster. You'll be safe. And when it's over, I guarantee you'll get a treasure worth 5 billion. One of the grandmasters promised, 5 billion. A fortune for any great martial artist. Few would refuse that kind of money, but Tian didn't believe for a second that these grandmasters would pay up. They had to pay all the great martial artists, and 100 billion would be required. Anyone with a brain could see that this was a huge lie, but most great martial artists were afraid to call them on it. If I hadn't joined, they wouldn't be so talkative and might even have attacked me, Tian thought, but his real goal was the Vajra beast. If this team could lead him to them, it was worth playing along. Besides, some of what they said might be true. the Beastmaster might really have some Vajra beast subordinates. I'm in, Yi Tian agreed. Welcome to the team. Keep up, the Grandmasters grinned. The group continued onward, looking for more warriors. 3 days passed, and the 5 Grandmasters found 5 more great martial artists, but they didn't recruit any Grandmasters. Whenever they encountered a Grandmaster, the 5 Grandmasters would use their mental power to warn them off, telling them to leave. They obviously didn't want to share the Beastmaster with anyone. Almost there. Let's go, one of the Grandmasters said. The team then headed toward the Cloud Sea Forest's depths. After about a day's journey, they reached a valley. The 5 Grandmasters took the lead, with the great martial artists and extreme powerhouses following close behind. They all entered the valley together. Rumble, a horde of beasts charged toward them, mostly mid-level ones. It was an odd mix, which were not naturally found together, indicating that one powerful beast united them. That beast was the Beastmaster that the Grandmasters were targeting. Alright, you guys know what to do, a Grandmaster ordered. Obviously, the 5 Grandmasters weren't going to waste their time on these mid-level beasts. Few. One of the great martial artists leaped forward and quickly slaughtered the mid-level beasts. At that moment, a powerful aura filled the air. The Beastmaster was on his way, with his elite guard in tow. Almost instantly the Beastmaster appeared before them. Yi Tian's copying talent swept across a 600-meter radius. Analyzing the Beastmaster's talents, what he saw left him speechless. It turned out to be Chapter 94. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Species, Swift Drakemon, Bloodline Talent, Extraordinary, Defense, Elementary, Strength, Elementary, Speed, Elementary. Looking at the Beast King's stats, Yi Tian finally understood what they were up against. It was a juvenile king beast. Yi Tian had researched many types of powerful beasts, including the Swift Drakemon, a creature with an extraordinary bloodline talent. If one of them reached adulthood, it had a high chance of becoming a king beast, on par with a human king-level powerhouse. The Swift Drakemon in front of him had only just reached the top tier of powerful beasts. Still, with its elementary defense, strength, and speed, it wouldn't be a pushover. Yi Tian could handle it himself, but if those 5 Grandmasters wanted to take it down, they'd definitely pay a price. No wonder these guys brought so many martial artists, Yi Tian thought grimly. They're focused on the Swift Drakemon and can't afford any distractions. Plus, those other high-level beasts aren't weak, and some have special talents. A combined attack would be a real problem. Bang. The 5 Grandmasters went toe-to-toe with the Swift Drakemon, and it was a close fight. The other martial artists kept the high-level beasts busy while Yi Tian fought one, carefully avoiding any fatal blows. He was actually searching for the Vajra beasts. There were a lot of high-level beasts, easily over 100. Soon, using his copied talent scanning ability, Yi Tian located the Vajra beasts, 3 of them in total. These 3 were powerhouses, forcing 3 great martial artists. With special talents to retreat, the Vajra beasts' bones were incredibly tough. Even an attack with the force of a Grandmaster could only break the skin. It couldn't penetrate their bodies. Their palms were like powerful Yuan force weapons, capable of shattering a martial artist's weapon with ease. Their high-level Vajra bone talent was terrifying. Yi Tian secretly copied the high-level Vajra bone talent from 2 of the Vajra beasts, then lost interest in them. After a while, a martial artist fell. Then another. Their numbers were dwindling fast. This group of martial artists is going down. Yi Tian thought grimly. The 5 Grandmasters didn't seem to care about the lives of the martial artists. As long as they took down the Swift Drakemon, the other high-level beasts weren't a problem. As for the martial artists dying, that was part of the plan, and they were probably relieved it was happening. Use the thing already. These small fries can't hold on much longer. If they die, we'll be swarmed by a bunch of high-level beasts. One of the Grandmasters said telepathically. Another Grandmaster understood and quickly grabbed something that looked like a syringe. A moment later, he charged at the Swift Drakemon, and despite getting thrown back by the beast, he managed to plunge the syringe deep into its body, piercing its hide. The Swift Drakemon had a primary defense talent, making it tough. but the needle was specially made with a strong, penetrating metal, and amplified by Yuan force, it was able to break through the Drakeman's defense. The syringe contained a powerful anesthetic, a blend of rare and naturally occurring treasures, potent enough to knock out most top-tier beasts. Unless a beast had a talent for resisting poison, the anesthetic was sure to work. "It's in," thought the 5 grandmasters. Cheered. They'd actually brought several syringes, carried by the grandmaster with a second-class speed talent. They hadn't expected to get it in on the first try. The swift Drakemon hadn't even put up a fight. Nearby, Tian witnessed the scene and realized, they're not hunting the swift Drakemon, they're capturing it. A lot of grandmasters capture top-tier beasts to sell. That's where a lot of the beasts in Demon Sea Great Base come from. A juvenile king beast, its value must be insane. No wonder they came to capture it. A juvenile king beast, successfully captured, was worth far more than the lives of 100 martial artists. 1,000, even. Controlling a juvenile king beast was like controlling a king beast in the future, enough to revitalize a major family. Even Yi Tian might not be able to afford one, but Yi Tian had no interest in capturing it. First, he wasn't short on cash. Second, capturing it would undoubtedly anger the juvenile, maybe even the real king beast behind it. Capturing a juvenile king beast was a good way to trigger a beast tide. Legend had it that 40 years ago, the capture of a juvenile king beast enraged a terrifying king beast, leading to a massive beast tide that nearly breached the Demon Sea base. In that battle, the Hurricane King was killed, along with at least 5 other powerful kings. Countless grandmasters also perished. Even though the swift Drakemon was one of the weaker king beasts, angering one now was not a good idea. He could sell it one day and be betrayed the next, and if a beast tide did occur, he might be scapegoated as the one who angered the beasts. Therefore, even if he killed the juvenile king beast, he wouldn't bring it back to the Demon Sea base. These 5 grandmasters were clearly very bold, daring to capture a juvenile king beast. Of course, they might be planning to operate far away from any major bases to avoid attention. Soon, the swift Drakemon succumbed to the anesthetic and collapsed. The 5 grandmasters rejoiced. Deal with the other beasts first, that they immediately began slaughtering the remaining high-level beasts. Before long, almost all the high-level beasts were dead. Only a few managed to escape. "We survived," thought a martial artist with a severed hand. Cheered. But before he could relax, a sword slit his throat. As he died, he recognized the figure, one of the 5 grandmasters. He was already dead, and he never had the chance to ask the grandmaster why he had killed him. The few remaining martial artists were terrified. They knew what was coming next. "I don't want my 5 billion anymore. Just let me go. I'm a member of the Hong family from the Demon Sea base. If you kill me, the Hong family will come after you. I don't want to die. I'll be your servant. Please, spare me." No amount of pleading, threatening, or begging could change the grandmasters' minds. "No matter who you are, we can't risk anyone finding out we captured the swift Drakemon. You all have to die," one of the grandmasters said grimly. Few. The remaining martial artists scattered, fleeing in different directions, but the grandmaster with the second-class speed talent made quick work of them, easily killing them all. In the end, only Yi Tian remained. "Kid, you have a basic speed talent. Maybe you have a shot at getting away. Why don't you run?" The 5 grandmasters looked at Yi Tian curiously. Yi Tian smiled, revealing his teeth, and said innocently, "Because I can kill you." Chapter 95. You are listening at novelfull.audio. "Kill us?" The 5 grandmasters scoffed. Was this kid for real? A martial artist thinking he could take them down? They weren't just any run-of-the-mill grandmasters. Even Yunfeng, the Demon Sea base's top combat genius, couldn't kill them, and probably couldn't even escape them. Why did Yi Tian think he stood a chance? This kid's lost his mind. Who does he think he's kidding? One grandmaster sneered. Swish, another grandmaster threw a punch. Suddenly, he froze. His body split in 2, and he crashed to the ground. Killed Tai Lin with one sword, that the remaining 4 grandmasters were stunned. It was unbelievable. Tai Lin wasn't just some weakling. He was a powerful grandmaster. Even a great martial artist wielding a Yuan force weapon couldn't inflict that kind of damage. Yet, Tian had killed him instantly with a single strike. Damn it! Let's get him! The 4 shouted, enraged, but to Tian, 1 grandmaster or 4, it didn't matter. Shadow kill, that he exploded forward at 120 times the speed of sound. At that speed, the grandmasters were like babies crawling. Puff. 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 *1 strike each. 4 grandmasters were dead in seconds. They didn't even have time to react. Tian had cleaved their skulls open, leaving them dead where they stood. With the 5 grandmasters down, Tian grabbed their storage bags. That swift drake. Tian eyed the swift drake beast, paused for a moment, then with a single sword stroke, killed it. He then collected its blood. It was the blood of a top-tier fierce beast, a juvenile king beast no less. Its blood was much higher quality than other top-tier beasts, perfect for body refinement. A real score. 1,000 units of top-grade beast blood. Not bad. Tian said, pleased. He didn't bother with the corpse. A top-tier fierce beast's body wasn't worth much, and this swift drake beast didn't have any special traits. Keeping the 30-meter-long carcass would just take up space. So, he left the body and moved on. Just 3 hours later, a monstrous swift drake beast, 100 meters long, arrived in the valley. A king-level swift drake beast. Finding the young one's corpse, it went berserk. Roar. Its rage blanketed the area for hundreds of miles. Find the humans. Kill them all. The king-level beast commanded its horde. Tian, already far away, sensed the change in the Cloud Sea forest. A dark, oppressive aura was spreading. It must be the swift drake beast. Time to clear out of the Cloud Sea forest, that he decided instantly, and sped away. That day, many human warriors in the Yunhai forest were attacked by fierce beasts. The king-level swift drake beast even personally hunted down grandmasters. Finally, a king-level powerhouse from the Demon Sea base intervened, battling the swift drake beast and ending the conflict with the beast's defeat. A full-blown beast tide was averted. The swift drake beast didn't have enough influence in the Yunhai forest to trigger one. It could only hunt down the humans in the area. Tian, after leaving the Yunhai forest, found a mountain peak. He carved out a temporary cave and went inside to fuse the 2 high-level Vajra bone talents. Fuse. Point one after the other, Tian fused the copies he'd made. Rumble, his bones felt like they were being torn apart. An ordinary person would have passed out, but Tian had gone through this before and grit his teeth. About half an hour later, the fusion was complete. Tian was drenched in sweat. Check. His talent list appeared before his eyes. As he'd hoped, the Vajra bone talent had been upgraded. Vajra bone talent, top tier. Finally got the Vajra bone talent to the top. Only the bloodline talent left. Tian sighed in relief. He'd been worried about collecting all 4 top-tier talents, defense, strength, bone, and bloodline, in time, but now that he was almost there, his worries faded. One step closer to the perfect foundation. Don't rush the bloodline talent just yet. Break through the bone refining limit first. That was his plan. After resting for half a day, fully recovering his strength, Tian prepared to practice the purple blood bone forging technique, but as he reached for the swift drake beast blood, he was stunned. Where's my swift drake blood? He searched the portable space again and again, but it was gone. The bottle was open, completely empty. That's impossible. Even if it accidentally opened, the blood would be all over the floor. It wouldn't just vanish. Tian was confused. This was weird. If he couldn't figure it out, he wouldn't dare put anything valuable in his personal space. He scanned with his spiritual power again and again, and finally, his gaze landed on the dragon egg. The vitality of this dragon egg is stronger, and the golden color is more intense. Could it be that he had a terrible feeling. Could it be that the dragon egg had stolen and eaten his 1,000 units of swift drake beast blood? I see, that it clicked, the swift drake beast had the word dragon in its name. Maybe it had some dragon blood in it. The battle blood dragon egg hadn't been able to hatch because it lacked dragon power. The swift drake beast blood, with its dragon essence, had been devoured. Then an idea struck him: if the battle blood heavenly dragon was devouring the blood of beasts with dragon blood, could it finally be conceived? The battle blood heavenly dragon has 10 special talents, and one of them is a bloodline talent. To confirm his theory, Tian used his copying talent to observe, bloodthirst talent. Since the battle blood heavenly dragon hadn't hatched, the level of the blood devouring talent was unknown. What if it was a top-tier talent? Then he wouldn't have to go searching for the battle blood heavenly dragon. He could just copy its blood-devouring talent that would give him all 4 top-tier talents. Chapter 96. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You could try that. There are plenty of dragon-blooded beasts out there, even if the blood is diluted. I seem to recall intel about a high-level dragon-blooded beast pack not too far from the Demon Sea base. If you wiped them out and used their blood to nourish the battle blood dragon egg, that should do the trick. That was Tian's theory, so his plan was to find that beast pack after he broke through his bone refining limit. For the next month, Tian stayed put in his makeshift cave, focusing on the purple blood bone forging technique and honing his sword intent. After burning through a ton of high-grade beast blood over roughly 29 days, Tian finally shattered the bone refining barrier. It felt like his bones were coming alive, and his adamantine bone talent was slowly fusing into his entire skeleton. He'd refined his skin, his flesh, and now his bones. With those 3 physical aspects maxed out, all that was left was to break the blood refining limit and reach the blood exchange transformation stage. Once that key foundation was complete, he'd just need to max out his 5 internal organs. Time to find that dragon-blooded beast pack. Tian muttered to himself. 8,000 kilometers west of the Demon Sea base, nestled in a canyon, lived a huge colony of ground-dwelling creatures known as dragon snakes. These beasts had the body of a snake, for claws, but no dragon head or horns. Still, they were tough, classified as high-level beasts, with a scattering of rare, top-tier individuals, maybe 20 in the whole group. However, dragon snakes weren't big, only about a meter long. They couldn't store much beast blood, and their corpses weren't worth much on the market. Because of that, no powerful grandmasters or king-level experts had bothered to wipe them out. That's where Tian comes in. As soon as he stepped into the canyon, a dozen dragon snakes spotted him and swarmed. Tian casually dispatched them with a flick of his wrist. Then he pulled out the battle blood heavenly dragon egg and dripped dragon snake blood onto its shell. This has to work, that he watched eagerly. Whoosh! A golden flash, and the eggshell devoured the dragon snake blood. It works. Tian was pumped. He stowed the battle blood heavenly dragon egg and started hunting dragon snakes like a madman. Kill. 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 Each time he dropped a dragon snake, he collected its blood and tossed it into his personal storage space. Eventually, it became too much effort to collect the blood, so Tian dug a pit in the canyon and started dumping the corpses of the dragon snakes into it. Soon, a large pool of blood formed. Looks like the top-tier dragon snakes are here. Tian murmured. Whoa. Beams of light shot toward him, radiating murderous intent. Each beam was a top-tier beast. More than 20 in total. Each top-tier dragon snake was stronger than a regular grandmaster. 20 of them together could give a powerful grandmaster a run for their money. But Tian's strength rivaled that of an elite grandmaster. Against him, these beasts didn't stand a chance. Rumble. Qingfeng cut through them like a lawnmower, sending the top-tier beasts crashing to the ground one after another. For half a day, Tian hunted dragon snakes. The entire canyon became a graveyard of corpses. Finally, Tian had slaughtered them all. Phew, good thing I copied Xiao Jin's medium endurance talent, or I'd have been wiped out a long time ago. He took a deep breath. Then, Tian gathered all the dragon snake blood together into a huge pool. Here goes. that he tossed the battle blood heavenly dragon egg into the pool, whoosh. A whirlpool formed in the blood, and the blood began swirling toward the center, right where the battle blood heavenly dragon egg was. The blood-sucking ability of this thing is insane. Must be that blood-devouring talent. Tian guessed, in under 10 minutes, the massive pool of dragon snake blood was completely absorbed by the battle blood heavenly dragon egg. Now, the egg radiated a powerful dragon aura. Compared to the plain, unremarkable egg from before, this was now a real dragon egg. So that's how the Martial Pavilion originally auctioned these eggs. Maybe they won't take them out for auction at all. Even if they take them out for auction, I wouldn't even be able to bid for them. They are probably king-level auctions, Tian said happily. Having absorbed so much dragon snake blood, the battle blood heavenly dragon egg seemed to be truly developing. Tian could clearly feel the vitality inside the egg growing stronger. Previously, there had been a hint of life, but it hadn't grown at all. Now, the vitality was increasing, which meant the egg was actually alive and developing. It shouldn't be long before this egg hatches a battle blood heavenly dragon, Tian said with a sigh, but there was still one more problem to solve: how to control this dragon. It was a real dragon, after all. What if he couldn't control it after it hatched and it flew off? That would be a total loss. Ideally, Tian wanted the battle blood heavenly dragon as his pet. People at the Demon Sea base sell fierce beasts all the time. A lot of them are hard to tame, and threats don't work. Still, they end up as pets, so there must be a way to subdue them, a way other than threatening Xiao Jin and Xiao Zi like I do, a way to make them want to become my pets. Tian decided to head back to the Demon Sea base and ask Yuling about it. Maybe she'd know a better way to tame a fierce beast. After a few months, Tian was back at the Demon Sea base. He headed straight home. Master, Xiao Jin spotted him and instantly got excited. He rushed over to show off. Master, I've broken through to become a top-tier beast. That's great, Tian nodded. Becoming a top-tier beast in a few months wasn't too impressive. In the wild, it would be even faster with a steady supply of blood. Master, why are you still just a great warrior? Xiao Jin asked suspiciously. Think you can beat me? Tian glared at Xiao Jin. Master, I'd never hit you. I'm not your opponent. Xiao Jin immediately backtracked. He knew how terrifying his master was. Killing enemies several levels higher was like drinking water. Even as a top-tier beast, he was no match. In terms of speed, he thought he was faster than his master. However, as his master's loyal pet, he didn't harbor any rebellious thoughts. In the evening, Yi Yu came home. A few months ago, Yi Yu had only been in the mid-stage of martial arts. Now, he was in the late stage, just one step away from becoming an elite martial artist. That night, Tian gave Yi Yu a storage bag filled with mid-grade and some high-grade beast blood and told him to focus on his cultivation. Now, all he could do was give Yi Yu resources. The next day, Tian used the liaison to contact Yuling and asked her to have dinner at a fancy hotel. Yuling agreed. Chapter 97. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They met up. Tian, long time no see. What's gotten into you? Why the sudden call? Yuling teased, feigning annoyance. Been out in the boonies, hunting monsters for months. Tian explained, a little sheepish. Yuling knew perfectly well he'd left Demon Sea base. She was just giving him a hard time. So, what's up? What do you need? She asked. Tian cut to the chase. I need to know, what's the best way to tame a monster? Yuling looked at him, surprised. Last I checked, you already had a couple of pets. Why the sudden interest? Tian admitted, I kind of strong-armed those two into submission. I don't really know how to properly tame them. Threaten them? Yuling's eyes widened. A monster smart enough to be threatened into submission? Impressive. It took a certain level of intelligence for an animal to value its life enough to surrender. You lucky dog. Yuling said, a hint of envy in her voice. Still, she answered his question honestly. Okay, look, There are a few ways to tame monsters. First, like you did, you can just threaten them. But that's a long shot with a very low chance of success. Second, you can have a king-level expert extract the monster's soul fragment and let someone else absorb it, that allows for taming. Third, a beastmaster, someone with the beastmaster talent, can directly control the monster with their powers. Most of the monsters in Demon Sea Base are tamed by beastmasters. They create beastmaster cards. If you refine the card, you can tame the monster. If you're dealing with a tough one, just hire a beastmaster. They charge based on the monster's level, but you can afford it. Beastmaster talent. Seriously? Tian was surprised. Weird talent, but this was helpful. He could just copy the talent and handle things himself. Thanks, Tian said. Hey, we're friends, it's no biggie. Although, Ling added, if you need me later, I might be in seclusion. I'm about to start training and disappear for a while. Going for Grandmaster? Tian guessed. Yep. Ling nodded. I'm a top-tier cultivator, I'm practically guaranteed to reach Grandmaster. Next time you see me, I'll be one. You're maxed out as a great martial artist, so you should try for Grandmaster soon. That gets you a lifespan of 200 years and lets you experience so much more. Great martial artist is basically the bottom of the food chain, you don't want to stay there long. Got it, Tian said, smiling faintly. He didn't argue. Maybe Ling knew about the perfect foundation, maybe she didn't, but for most great martial artists, forging a perfect foundation was just a pipe dream, so he didn't mention it, nor did he suggest that Ling try for the perfect foundation level. He knew she wouldn't be able to achieve it, so why push it? After they ate, they parted ways. Instead of heading home, Tian went to the headquarters of the Monster Pavilion, where they sold monsters. The Monster Pavilion was a major player, with locations all over Demon Sea Base. They specialized in selling monsters. The headquarters housed a large number of monsters, many of them top tier. The high-level Vajra bone talent he'd copied before had come from a branch of the Monster Pavilion. This time, he was going straight to the top. He was pretty sure the Beastmaster at the Monster Pavilion headquarters held the talent he was looking for. Once he located the guy, he could easily copy it. Inside the Monster Pavilion, a super-friendly employee swarmed him, eagerly trying to introduce him to different monsters. Tian was polite but distracted, his mind focused on copying talents. Whoosh, starred at a 600-meter radius was now under his control. He scanned the talents of every monster and martial artist within range. Jackpot. Tian grinned. Not only had he found a Beastmaster talent, but he'd also discovered an extraordinary cultivator, human, Li Pei, cultivation talent, top tier, Beastmaster talent, high tier, human, Zhao Ku, cultivation talent, transcendent, fire knife talent, medium tier. Zhao Ku must be the director of the Monster Pavilion. Probably a king, too, and a king with a medium-tier fire knife talent. That's impressive. He's probably one of the stronger kings out there. Tian mused. Without a word, he made his choice. Transcendent level cultivation talent, copy. He'd copied 2 of those before, one more would push him to the next level. He wasn't in a hurry to upgrade his cultivation talent. Forging a perfect foundation was his main goal, but he couldn't pass up this opportunity. After copying the transcendent level cultivation talent, Tian still had one more copy available, so he snagged the Beastmaster talent too. With both opportunities used up, he wasn't going to stick around. Sorry, I've gotta run. I'll buy a monster next time. Ignoring the employee's puppy dog eyes, Tian left the Monster Pavilion. Back home, he couldn't wait to start fusing the Beastmaster and Transcendent level talents. First up was the high-tier Beastmaster talent. That was an easy fusion, leaving him with just a few beads of sweat. After a half-hour break, he began fusing his Transcendent level cultivation talent. This is gonna hurt, isn't it? Tian guessed. This was the process of pushing an already extraordinary talent to the next level. The pain would be more intense than anything he'd experienced before. Taking a deep breath, Tian began. Pain. Heart-wrenching pain. 10 times worse than childbirth. If Tian's willpower wasn't far above average, he might have passed out. In his mind, each second felt like a century. Finally, after an eternity, the pain subsided. That sucked. I don't want to do that again. Tian lied. If the opportunity arose, he'd gladly endure twice the pain. How's the talent now? Tian checked his talent. He was looking at a whole new level. Cultivation talent, Morning Star. Morning Star cultivation talent. Is that the level above transcendent? Tian's expectations soared. Chapter 98. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm already maxed out as a top-tier martial artist. I can't really test how much faster my Morning Star cultivation talent makes me compared to someone transcendent until I hit the Grandmaster level. That's when the real fun begins. I reined in my excitement about the Morning Star talent and immediately started checking out the beast control ability. This thing was a trip. Turns out, I could ditch my connection with Xiao Jin and Xiao Zi whenever I wanted, because it lets me pull out and strip away their soul light. I tried it on Xiao Zi, and it was just as easy as before to form a master-servant bond. No sweat, but when I tried to force the issue with Xiao Jin, it didn't work. I had to let him choose to submit. After a bunch of tests, I figured it out. Beast control's gotta be tied to the soul somehow. I'm just a great martial artist at my peak, and Xiao Jin's already a super tough beast. He's way stronger than me, soul and all. That's why I can't just strong-arm him into being my pet. I realized, basically, this high-level beast control thing is powerful. As long as the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon isn't stronger than me, I can just force it to become my pet. I pulled out the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon egg again. The life force coming off it was even stronger now, like it was about to explode. Any day now. Feels like it's gonna hatch in less than 10 days. 10 days isn't long. I can handle that. So, for the next 10 days, I just chilled out, focused on understanding sword intent, and put everything else on the back burner. Fast forward, 10 days went by. Then, one day, I felt the space around me shake. The Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon was about to make its grand entrance. I grabbed the egg and cranked up the soundproofing and aura hiding formations in the villa. Xiao Jin was staring at the egg with big eyes. He'd seen it before, since I was always pulling it out to look at it. Before, he didn't think much of it. But now, the pressure coming off it was making him anxious. It kept getting stronger. This wasn't just about power, it was about bloodlines. Beasts live and die by their bloodlines. It's how they grow, because Xiao Jin is top tier, he could skip the fancy meals and just absorb energy from the world to pump up his bloodline and body. That's the bloodline boost at work. But now, even his high-end bloodline was being suppressed. The master's new egg, is it a king-level beast or something? Xiao Jin was floored. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to be replaced. Nah, just my imagination. He tried to reassure himself, but he was dead on. He was about to get replaced, because I was planning on making him Yu's pet. People only have so much soul power to control beasts. To make room for the dragon, I'd already unbonded Xiao Zi and set her up with Yu. Next up, Xiao Jin. So, yeah, Xiao Jin's worries were spot on. Back to the dragon egg, it was shaking like crazy. Then, snap. The shell, which was tough enough to stop even a grandmaster, cracked open. More cracks started appearing. About half an hour later, the egg had a gaping hole in it, and a head popped out. It looked just like a dragon's head. I'd never seen one before, just going off legends. The head stretched out, and then the rest of the body wiggled free. Boom. A little dragon, maybe a little over a meter long, all blood red, no wings. Not a Western dragon. This was an Eastern dragon. Time to check this out. That I fired up the copying talent to see what the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon was working with. I was hyped. Species, Bloody Dragon, Bloodline Talent, Dawn Level, Strength Talents, Top, Defense Talents, Top, Speed Talent, Medium, Bloodthirsty Talent, Top, Flying Talent, Advanced, Dragon Flame Talent, High, Healing Talent, Medium, Dragonine Talent, Advanced, Bloodbone Talent, Medium, Dragon Soul Talent, Medium. 10 special talents, almost as good as my own right now, of course. I could easily copy more, but that would be a waste. I'm picky about what I copy. Every talent has to earn its place. This dragon's talent setup is insane, but too bad there are only 3 top-level ones, that I said, only slightly disappointed. If the dragon could hear me, it'd be like, dude, you want me to be even more powerful, that I stopped sweating the small stuff and focused on the bloodline talent, Dawn level. Dawn must be even higher than Morning Star, but how much higher, that I was curious, but then I got bummed out. I'm on the path of cultivation, not the beast bloodline path. Even if the dragon's bloodline was god tier, I couldn't copy it. If I did, I'd become a dragon. Who knows what the side effects would be? I knew for sure I wouldn't be able to train like a human anymore. I'd be stuck with the beast life. Sounds cool, but what happens when I max out as a dragon? I couldn't just copy a stronger beast, or my blood would get messed up. I could only copy higher-level dragon talents. But if Dawn was the highest, then I'd be stuck. Choose the hard way, maybe even kill the copying talent, over the unlimited cultivation path. Easy choice. It's just a sun-level talent, I'll find that among humans, that I thought. First, gotta control the beast, that I quickly slapped the beast control on the dragon. Even though it's a Dawn-level bloodline, it's still just a mid-level beast. Easy to control, plus, it had just hatched and was already attached to me. So, no problem taming and bonding with it. Done. Hungry, eat. The dragon spoke into my mind. It went straight for the eggshell and started munching. The indestructible shell dissolved in its mouth and went straight into its body. I was shocked. As it ate, its aura got stronger. When it finished, the aura exploded, and it jumped up to high-level beast status, plus, its scales got tougher and shinier. This talent is broken. It's growing too fast, that I said, impressed. Good thing I got to it when I did. If I'd waited, it would have been a top-tier beast and I'd be screwed. The copying talent's still cooling down. When it's ready, I'm stealing its blood-devouring talent. Chapter 99. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tian's copying ability still had about 20 days left on its cooldown, so it wasn't ready yet. In the meantime, besides his daily sword intent practice, he focused on building a bond with the battle blood heavenly dragon. Since it was so newly hatched, the dragon's mind wasn't fully developed, kind of like a human baby needing time to grow. Plus, Tian noticed something else. The battle blood heavenly dragon was seriously into the blood of fierce beasts. It needed a ton of it every day, and it wasn't picky. Even if the blood didn't have any dragon lineage, it would guzzle it down. For the dragon, fierce beast blood was like milk, helping it grow. Tian was stoked to see it getting bigger and stronger every day, even if it was chowing down on massive amounts of blood. However, with him and the dragon both being major blood consumers, he realized the amount of beast blood they'd need for future training would be insane. Luckily, he had a good stockpile, so he wasn't short on it right now. But he figured he'd need to head out into the wilds a lot more often, otherwise, they'd run dry in no time. A few days later, Tian decided to undo Xiao Jin's master-servant bond and have him become Yi Yu's pet instead. Xiao Jin whined about it for a while, but eventually, he obediently became Yi Yu's companion. Honestly, being Yi Yu's pet wasn't a bad deal. After all, Yi Yu had taken the heavenly soul flower Tian gave him, and his talent had skyrocketed to the top tier. He was pretty much guaranteed to become a grandmaster and even had a shot at becoming a king-level expert, so, Xiao Jin quickly came around to the idea. The day before his copying ability was about to be ready again, Tian stopped practicing his sword intent, took a deep breath, and muttered, finally mastered the 1:9 sword intent. All that crazy training these past few months was worth it. With the 1:9 sword intent, just a bit more practice would get him to 2% mastery. That was the level needed to learn silver tier sword techniques. Apparently, a lot of those techniques had special abilities that went beyond just boosting combat power, so he was super pumped to try them out. The next day, the copy ability's cooldown ended, giving Tian 2 more chances to copy a talent. His first pick was obviously the blood-devouring talent. It was a top-tier bloodline ability, exactly what he needed. Once he copied it, he could truly break his blood refinement limits, pushing the refinement of his skin, flesh, bones, and blood all beyond their normal boundaries. Then, he could try for the final step, breaking the limit of his 5 internal organs. That's how he'd build a perfect foundation. Fuse. The blood-devouring talent merged into Tian's body, the transformation began. 10 minutes later, Tian had successfully fused with the talent and quickly learned how to use it. Devour blood and be reborn. Tian was blown away by the power of this ability. It was like a rejuvenation, even more powerful than the healing talent. The healing talent only fixed injuries, not his life force. With the blood-devouring talent, he could devour a ton of fierce beast blood and draw the life force from it to replenish his own. This was a game-changer. Jackpot! Jackpot! Tian was ecstatic. With the top-tier blood-devouring talent and the top-tier healing talent, he could recover quickly from any injury or any nasty side effects. With the blood-devouring talent in place, Tian started practicing the purple blood alchemy technique. He was shocked to find that the two abilities worked together perfectly. The blood-devouring talent could instantly absorb tons of high-level beast blood and store it deep within his system, while the purple blood alchemy technique could draw out that power and refine the blood throughout his entire body. Using the blood-devouring talent to fuel the purple blood alchemy technique, he was progressing at an insane rate. At this pace, Tian was sure he could break the blood refinement limit within 10 days. That was way faster than breaking the limits of skin, flesh, and bone refinement. It was a totally unexpected bonus. Of course, this fast progress meant he was burning through beast blood like crazy. In just a few days, Tian's stockpile was gone. He was spending billions just to buy more blood, trying to keep up with the demand. 10 days flew by. On that day, Tian finally felt the limit of blood refinement. Break. The blood-devouring talent and the purple blood alchemy technique combined a huge amount of energy, instantly breaking through the limit of blood refinement and stepping into a new realm. Then, Tian's blood underwent a huge transformation. It became like mercury, even containing a faint golden glow. At that moment, his blood was already a level above ordinary people, and he was already evolving toward a higher level. But at present, even if the limit of blood refining is broken, this blood level can no longer be improved so far. Next up is breaking the limit of the 5 internal organs. They're way too complex to break with just talent alone. I'll need to use a gravity formation to crush and reshape them. That was Tian's plan. Most people wouldn't dare to try something like that. Even if they did, they'd need tons of high-grade healing potions and a lot of time to recover after each attempt. But Tian was different. I've got a top-tier healing talent. I can recover from injuries super fast. As long as my internal organs aren't totally wrecked, they'll heal quickly. The only thing I'm worried about is my head. There's no coming back from that. Tian was confident he could push past the limits of his 5 internal organs. Right now, he needed to find a gravity formation strong enough to help him train. Otherwise, breaking those limits would be impossible. Gravity formation. I remember the Demon Sea base has a cultivation tower funded by some big families. Tian remembered, that tower had a ton of vitality formations, gravity formations, and formations that boosted training speed, reflexes, and combat skills. It had basically everything. But getting into the tower was expensive, so only the rich could really afford to use it. Time to hit the cultivation tower. Tian headed out. Demon Sea base, central area, Demon Sea cultivation tower. The tower was a towering structure, 500 meters tall with 50 floors. Each floor was 10 meters high and filled with training rooms. At the entrance to the first floor, there were people collecting fees. Tian pulled out his ID card and asked, "What's the price for the highest level gravity room per day?" "The highest level?" The staff member said, "That would be the king level gravity room, meant for king level experts. We only have 3, and they're all reserved by king level masters. A heaven level gravity room is plenty for top grandmasters. You're just a great martial artist, you don't need anything that advanced. Then give me a heaven level gravity room." Tian said without hesitation. "Alright, that'll be 50 million a day," the staff member replied. Chapter 100. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'll pay for a month, up front, Tian declared. That'll be 1.5 billion a month, the staff member looked at Tian, surprised. They couldn't believe a grand martial artist would drop that kind of cash to train in a heaven-level gravity room for a whole month. Talk about a waste of money. Some grandmasters wouldn't dare to spend a month in there. A few days, max. Gravity rooms are really meant for breaking through plateaus. The extra gravity helps you bust through physical limitations and level up. That's why they aren't as popular as the vitality rooms. Training in there is way better than training outside, and it seriously speeds up your progress. Tian quickly paid the 1.5 billion and grabbed the key for the heaven-level gravity room. The heaven-level gravity rooms are on the 8th floor. Anyone can go in as long as the door's formation hasn't been activated. The staff member explained. Tian nodded, hopped in the Yuan elevator, and shot up to the 8th floor of the training tower. He picked an empty gravity room, and once inside, activated the defensive and soundproofing formations, so he wouldn't be disturbed. Whoa! The heaven and earth Yuan Qi is at least 3 times stronger than outside, Tian muttered, sensing the difference, and this was just a gravity room, not a dedicated Yuan Qi room. Imagine how concentrated the Yuan Qi must be in those. But, training in a Yuan Qi room all the time would be too much for most people to handle. They're even pricier than gravity rooms. If I could set up formations myself, I could make my own Yuan Qi training room. That would seriously speed up my training, way faster than just grinding it out, Tian mused, but that could wait. He'd try it once he hit Grandmaster. Right now, the focus was on smashing through the limits of his 5 internal organs and building a perfect foundation. Tian checked the gravity controls. There was a manual explaining how to use the system. The heaven-level gravity room could be adjusted from 1x to 1000x normal gravity. Warriors could handle 1x to 5x, elite warriors 5x to 20x, great martial artists 20x to 100x, and grandmasters 100x to 1000x. It was Tian's first time using the room, so he played it safe and started at 100x gravity. Rumble. A massive pressure slammed into him, and Tian felt a jolt in his internal organs. He actually got hurt. Truth was, he could handle 100x gravity no problem, but his internal organs weren't used to it, so they got a little banged up. Tian activated his healing talent, and his injuries vanished instantly. After about 10 minutes, Tian was completely adjusted to 100x gravity. 100x gravity is the limit for a great martial artist. I'll need to go higher to break through my internal organs. Tian sighed, so, he cranked it up. 101x gravity. 102x gravity. 103x gravity. Tian slowly increased the gravity. Everything else felt fine, but his internal organs were cracking a bit from the pressure. Luckily, his maxed-out healing talent was patching him up just as fast, so he wasn't in any real danger. Days turned into weeks, and Tian's tolerance kept improving. Half a month later, Tian was handling 108x gravity, but still hadn't hit his limit. 110x gravity. 115x gravity. 120x gravity. Tian kept pushing, and before he knew it, a month had passed. Frustrated, Tian paid for another month in the gravity room. Breaking through the limits of his internal organs was proving tougher than anything else. He knew he wasn't using the right talent for this specific goal, but he was convinced his method would work. 124x. Tian exhaled. It was his 50th day in the training tower. He was at 124x gravity, and every increase was getting harder. He could feel a kind of resistance, a limit. Maybe 125x is the breakthrough point. Tian guessed. After resting to get back to top condition, he set the gravity to 125x, crack. His internal organs were shattering, but his top-tier healing talent was quickly repairing the damage. Break, repair, shatter again. It was a brutal cycle, and the pain was beyond imagination, but Tian was determined to build a perfect foundation. Hours passed. Finally, at a specific moment, the hidden barriers in his body broke completely. Rumble. Endless heaven and earth yuan qi flooded into Yi Tian's internal organs, making them stronger and stronger. They easily withstood 125x gravity and started glowing with a faint, colorful light. It worked. Yi Tian was ecstatic, but as he celebrated, the real changes began. His skin, muscles, bones, blood, and internal organs reacted. A stream of dark energy poured into Yi Tian's body, and his whole physique underwent a strange transformation. Countless impurities were forced out from deep within him. They were almost black, reeked of foulness, and consisted of toxins, dirt, and waste that were normally impossible to remove. But now, they were being purged. The transformation lasted an hour. That stinks. Yi Tian frowned at the grime covering his body. Luckily, there was a special shower area on the 8th floor, so Yi Tian rushed over to clean up before returning to the gravity room. I should have a perfect foundation now. I can feel that my defense, strength, vajra bone, and bloodthirst talents have basically merged with every part of me. Yi Tian sensed. Maybe the talents changed. He wondered. He took a look at his status screen. Yi Tian was stunned. His talents had gone through a dramatic shift. The defense, strength, vajra bone, and bloodthirst talents were different. Defense talent, mystic, pseudo, strength talent, mystic, pseudo, vajra bone talent, mystic, pseudo, bloodthirst talent, mystic, pseudo. The 4 talents weren't top tier anymore. They were now mystic level, but each had a pseudo marker. Above special class talents are mystic talents, distinct from cultivation talents. I thought those were extraordinary level. Yi Tian mumbled. He was eager to test out these new mystic talents, so he rented the force measurement equipment in the training tower to measure their effects.